Hello, this is Kyle Moore with Mech 382 Machine Vision. We are working today with OpenMV IDE and the OpenMV H7 camera module. And yeah, so we've been given a few different challenges. One of them is two-part, and it is to use the basic functionality of the camera. So write a program that takes a photo every 10 seconds, and then write a photo that takes a photo off of a button press. So we're going to start with the first one, the 10 seconds. We have here our libraries that we've imported: sensor, image, time, and machine. These next few lines are setting up the camera. So basically this one initializes the camera. This one sets the color format. Right now I have it set to grayscale. I found that that's actually really good for blurriness. Don't mind this up here. That's just blurry because of movement. And then up here, this one is frame size, so I have it set to 480 by 320 pixels. And then here I have it set to, or this stabilizes the image for 2 seconds, or 2000 milliseconds. Then the next few lines are variables that I've set up. Timer equals time.ticks_ms. So it's if you take a look at it, this returns an increasing millisecond counter with an arbitrary reference point that wraps around after some value. This when this is every time this is run, it is never the same number, and so to be able to get it to where it is always the same, I have another variable here called myTimer where it takes timer and divides it by itself, so it'll always be 1. And then we have our LED that we've set up, and it will be blue. And then we have a file count, and this is for file naming purposes. And then the while loop, we are using the modulo operator. So this percent sign here. So basically it's saying if my timer is divisible by 10 and then has a remainder of 7, it'll toggle the LED. So the remainder of 7, basically what that's saying is 3 seconds before the photo is snapped, which is going to be every 10 seconds. So every 7th second, well, it's not really how it goes, but yeah, 3 seconds before the photo's taken. And then we're using the modulo operator again. So if my timer is divisible by 10 with a remainder of 0, so every 10th second, so 10, 20, 30, so on and so forth, it will take a photo, it will save the photo with the file name and the file counter, and it'll turn the LED off. And then it'll add 1 to the file counter for the next photo, so it'll be a different name. It'll add 1 to the timer, and then it'll wait for 1 second. And then I have it set for when the file counter equals 3, it breaks the loop, and then it resets the board. We have to reset the board to be able to see the photos on the SD card. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. You can either do that by writing it in the code, or you can just unplug the USB to reset. And yeah, so let's get into it. So we're going to connect, and then we're going to run. So then you can see up here, this is initializing the camera. And then the counter's going. LED on. Here's picture 1. Alright. And then we're waiting again. LED on. Picture 2. Alright. And then for this last one, we're waiting for the LED. LED on. Picture 3. Alright. Now it has reset, and you'll see that the folders are going to pop up here. So image 1, image 2, and image 3. So those are the 3 images that we just took. Alright. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete these. Alright. And then we'll close that. And then we're going to go over to the button. program. So this one is the same for the most part at the beginning. So the only difference is we have the library PYB that we have added to it, and that is for pretty sure it stands for PyBoard. I could be wrong, but that is so we can set up the pin. Um, and then so I have it set to pin 6. So this one here is all the same, setting up the camera, LED here, and then this one is setting up the pin. So shutter equals pyb.pin. We're putting it to P6 as an input, and then using a pull-up resistor. So it will always be set to on or true or 1, however you want to look at it. And then we have these same variables: timer, my timer, file counter. And then while true, if the button is pressed, so if the shutter dot value equals 0, so that means because of the pull-up resistor, it's always on, 1, or true. So if the shutter value is 0, off, or false, that means the button has been pressed. Then it will take the photo. It will save the photo with the name and the file counter. It will turn the LED off, and then it'll add 1 to the file counter, 1 to the timer, and then it'll wait for 1 second. I have it wait for 1 second. That way you don't have a whole bunch of different photos taken with a single button press. And then if the button is not pressed, so if the button is on, or the pin, if the pin is on or 1 or true, then the LED will be on. So it'll be on until the button is pressed, and then it'll turn off for 1 second. And then the timer will be 1 until the button is pressed, and then it'll add 1 every second. And then I have it set to where once the timer hits 3, it will break the loop. So if you hold the button for 3 seconds, it'll break the loop. It's like a reset button, and then that's exactly what it's doing. It's going to reset the machine so we can view our photos. It will take an extra 1 to 2 photos just because of this if loop here. So anyway, let's get started. So we're going to connect again. We're going to run. It's going to initialize. All right, and then I have a button here that I've hooked up to pin 6 and then the ground. And then we are going to press the button 1, photo taken, press the button 2, I guess I can put it up here, press the button 3, press the button 4 and hold. And that's what that's going to do, is that's going to reset the camera. Alright, you'll see the folder pop up. And then there's our extra picture. But if you take a look at these, you have button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, and then extra photo. Alright, and that is basically it. Thank you for watching.